What's up, my XRP brothers from another mother and my cute XRP sisters? This is Rob with the Rob 007 channel, coming to you from beautiful but wet, soggy Venice Island, not 5 out of 5. And the title of this episode is The Ripple XRP Stage is Set. What to expect next, short-term price, end of year, and flip the switch. Watch this episode to the end. I got a good one for you guys. And a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, nor is anything on this channel. It's just financial advice. I'm for educational entertainment purposes only. And don't forget about the fine folks at Caleb and Brown. If I can find the link, well, hopefully we stick it in there so you guys take advantage of it. Love my folks and friends at Caleb and Brown. They are opening up an office in Fort Lauderdale, by the way. And the other two, the Kraken Exchange as well as iTrust, I'll try to put the links in there as well. $50 bonus on one and $100 on the other perspective. And if you're looking for ROI on XRP OMG, there'll be a lot of things coming in the near term. Uphold talk about how they're going to have 2 different ways to be able to get a return on your XRP. Really interesting, maybe even 3. Fascinating. Things will be changing fast. But if you want to hop on board, just email me your name and number and a good time to call, and I will get back to you. I'll put the email and address. And thank you as always. We're close to 4,000 subscribers as we claw back from the old channel, XRP 007, which was removed and banned. That hopefully we get back from 31,000 where we were before. But indeed, if you are new to this channel, if you would hit the subscribe button to subscribe, and welcome my new 100 subscribers from yesterday. The bell for notification, that like button, tap it, slap it, whatever you are feeling for a hump day. And if you do Twitter, follow me at Rob XRP007 on Twitter. Love my XRP Twitter family. In the comments, Mr. Booze, what's in a name? Says, I've been saying for 4 months, Ripple with the Fed master account becomes the Fed 2.0. After clarity, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, flip the switch. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing it too. It's like, and then also there's the old notion of price before regs. You can throw that out there into as well. In the comments, ORDE says, the last time I subbed, I was at 8,000 when he subbed. He said this time around he is subscriber 151. That's a lucky number. Keep rocking. Thanks so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. And then currently we got Bitcoin about 112,514. It's up about 2%. XRP clawing back above that $3 range at $3.03. Up about 2.5% on the 24 hours. That is a good thing. And once again, we're down to the number of days. This gets really exciting. I love this. I don't know if anything's going to happen. That potentially utility event that will send that will create a utility price XRP. What do we got? We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days remaining on that. It could overlap into the first week or so of September. But September, it's going to be a wild ride for sure. Who knows what to expect? We got a full moon on September 7th. Monday is the 1st, so just 6 days later, we got a full moon. Let's see how high that we may push. I do think that we'll be looking at a pump. If we don't pump then, guarantee it, we are going to pump on September 17th. That is when rate cuts will be announced. I'm almost within, no guarantees in life, but I would actually kind of weight this 90-10, that 90% we will get a rate cut. Hopefully we have at least a half a basis point rate cut. That will send the markets roaring, be such a great sign. And also the Clarity Act as well in October. We got some days for that. So anyway, let's see if they can't get it passed in the month of October. That's the best month for it because they got more time on the clock than they do. Actually, I think they have more time on the clock in September, so we shall see. So anyway, but again, drop dead date. Bragheim says Thanksgiving. Also, you could push it all the way back to December 10th before they leave. Uphold, by the way, and this is worth repeating again, September pain. What pain are you talking about, Uphold? They are also infamous for saying XRP just hit $1,000. What are you tweeting? XRP just hit $1,000. What's the first thing you do? Comment down below if you want to chime in. Yeah, and Uphold goes on to say October gain. Yeah, we got ETFs coming out in November. Insane. Can you say ISO 222 Swift? We'll be talking about Swift in this episode. Smoke Dog, always bringing the heat, says, and the Bark says Ripple building an Oracle to query data from banks. Can you say Chainlink? Yeah, I looked up Chainlink. It's doing pretty good. It's about $24.50. Would you complain with the $24.50 XRP? And their all-time high is $52. just keep in mind they will be working with the big dogs. We're talking about the central banks and so forth, as well as other much larger banks like BlackRock, JP Morgan, yada, yada, yada. Digital Perspective says, and this is also just an alert, it says investor lost 1.23 million in a phishing scam. Breaks my heart when you hear that, but worse yet, he lost 99.6% of his net worth on that one transaction. Hopefully he did not have it just all in one place, but that still breaks my heart, which is why you want to have your XRP custodied in a fine place, whether it's Caleb and Brown or I Trust Capital, two among my favorites. XRP resurrected as it gets kind of hot in here. Let's see if that helps out. XRP resurrected says, reminder, he was the only account that warned you of the September shines like gold on December. Wouldn't that be, just tells you instead of warns you? I don't think there's a warning in there. I think there's a celebration in there. If indeed we actually shine like gold on December. Anyway, Baba Cug says, does not matter when case is over. XRP to moon, 922. Interesting. We'll follow up with another date. And this is from Spray up on X. He follows up on the September 23rd. He says swan signal. Doesn't say if it's a black swan or a white swan. And then October 13th, pre-collapse of the financial system perhaps. And November 22nd, yes, you guessed it, SWIFT and ISO 222 messaging standards. Actually, I should say ISO 222 messaging standards flip the switch. And that is when all banks, there's no delay in that. At least that's one thing that's refreshing. That is not going to be kicked down the road. Smoke Dog says SBI RLUSD distribution, and this is SBI Holdings, said the RLUSD distribution to begin on March 31st, 2026. Yes, that's within the first quarter of 2026. So I think this is the first time I've mentioned anything about 2026 going forward. Are you ready for God's green candle? And then let's say that comes from XRP Resurrected. That just sounds like music to my name, to my ears. Are you ready for the God candle? And I think it's going to be absolutely, if we wake up one day and they start utilizing XRP, and you just went from 3 to 20, or 3 to 30, or 3 to 100, or 3 to 300, or 3 to 1,000. Anything can happen in this space. And for a little TA down by the beach, this is from Staple Crew and Alan. Shout out to you. Alan says, always great video, by the way, because it really kind of paints this picture, because he knows the financial institutions all too well. Kind of calling the top of the crypto market right around December 10th. That's when Wall Street and institutions start to pack it up, go home for Christmas, as well as retailers do. Remember, they got Christmas to pay for, and actually crypto is one of the more liquid assets as opposed to 401ks. ETFs. Yes, the holy grail of 2025. Yeah, that's my holy grail of 2025 right now. What I am most excited about this afternoon are the announcement of the ETFs. I expect it on October 18th. We're roughly only about 16. Let's say it's announced on the 15th. Let's say that's roughly just a little bit over 6 weeks, 6 weeks and some change from here. That would be amazing. Jay Claver goes on to say, instantly to $20. What's not to like about a $20 XRP instantly? Then he says we start to move up to $50 and $100. Yes, I 100% agree, because people have no idea the supply shock that's coming, how much money is out there by the financial titans, and how little is actually circulating on the exchanges. Call it 3 billion or less. Absolutely amazing. So Swift Sibos in person, yes, he goes on to say that yes, Swift will use Ripple in their payment system, and that they're running tests on it now. We heard that news last week, but he's confirming they will be using it. It's not if, they will. Just let that sink in, everybody. Ripple goes on to say, Ripple partner Ondo, and goes on to say, this is really interesting, mark this on your calendars, in 7 days, U.S. markets become global processing. They become like global payments, let's just say. Why can't he read my own line? Truly global, there we go. In 7 days, Hondo says U.S. markets become truly global. What day is that? Apologies for being tongue-tied this afternoon, the 27th. Tuesday, actually, that will come and fall on Tuesday the 2nd, is 7 days from now. And that's the day after, remember, on Labor Day, banks and institutions, and the banks will be closed for that holiday, and they open up the following day on the 2nd. Let's put that one up here. So close. That is just right around the horizon. Swift Chief Innovation Officer says Swift is 77% complete on switching over to blockchain, and goes on to say that Ripple Bank license. This was an earlier tweet. He's keep in mind he works at Swift, and he's talking about when Ripple was applying for their bank license, and he says one word: checkmate. I mean, every day I wake up and it's just as obvious as the nose at the end of our face. Okay, Coin Bureau says via the Todd report, I'm going to say this again because there's one thing I wanted to add. It's about the fintech partner moving their platform over onto the XRP ledger. Yes, they do trillions. Here's the fascinating thing about it. This is from Pumpius talking about Link Logis, if I'm going to say that right. Their price in 24 hours went up. Their stock price went up 23% in 24 hours. If XRP did that in kind, it would be at $3.69 this afternoon. This is just one instance. It is a example of what other companies, when they decide to onboard, what it can do to their stock price as well and their evaluation. So going back to that Gemini card, that you can get 4%, not quite 4%, it's really more like 1% on the bulk of stuff you pay. That did came out, sure is exciting. Paul Barron did a really nice kind of wrapping this in perspective, saying, look, this is just a crypto exchange. They're adding their XRP MasterCard like they had a Bitcoin one. It's really not into the big mass of MasterCards that are out there. So it's a small little pond. But he does point out this. Notice how they skipped over ETH. Notice how they skipped over Solana. So he's got a point. Ripple. Yes, this is talking about the rumor about the Swiss bank integration with, for the likes of CBDCs. Well, apparently there's evidence of that. I lost that tweet, but there seems to be some backing behind that. And then just repeating from yesterday, and as we head out at the end and the best of this episode for the best of last, my top 7 things from that gets me excited for midterm. Worth repeating again real quick: infrastructure, rate cuts, spot ETFs, BlackRock ETFs, don't forget that announcement, Ripple Bank license by the end of October, IPO and the RLUSD line of credit. We can see big things of that. And then also those 1,700 NDAs. Going to be such an exciting time between now and the end of the year, as well as into the first quarter of next year. U.S. digital asset bond issuance. We'll see about that. That's kind of this hidden gem that I don't focus on. We got to add that into there. And keep in mind with that line of credit with the IPOs, it did send Binance in the ICO market up to well over almost $1,000, not very far from that. And the final note on this episode comes from the Kwok brothers, Dom and his brother. Absolutely, I found out today via Brad Kimes that he actually did evaluations over in traditional finance. But he points out this. He's talking about how we're making this major seismic shift in a whole new industry, and talking about how people in the traditional markets did flood into NVIDIA and shot the price up 1,000x because of the potential of AI and what AI means. If we shoot up 1,000x from here, you're looking at a $3,000 XRP. Be still my beating heart. In which case, we're all going to need a bigger boat. See you guys in the next episode. Peace out.